The Bride, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's a written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's a freaking I don't want to say remake because it's not even the same studio. It's not Universal. So I mean, it's a reimagining of James Whale's Bride of Frankenstein, which was a sequel to James Whale's Frankenstein, which was an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But both Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein by James Whale are technically both adaptations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. They both take a lot of stuff from that book. Basically, what isn't adapted in Frankenstein 1931 gets adapted in Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay. So this movie was very much its own thing, and it had quite a few different aspects to it. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very layered, and I enjoyed the aspect of like Mary Shelley, like her like spirit, like in throughout the movie and that kind of thing as well. So that was pretty cool too. It was interesting to me.
Well, I like that plot is a good idea, and everything that happens in the movie is a good idea and could be really cool and really good if executed properly. Everything from the reason the monster wants a bride here, the time in which this movie takes place versus the time when we know the original novel and the original story took place, from the bride becoming a revolutionary to what her job was before she was the bride, to even something as simple as Dr. Victoria. I think his name in the original is Dr. Victorious. I think that's the name here. No, is it? Being a woman, to her maid, to most everything here, should be amazing and would be amazing. I don't even want to say put into better hands, because I haven't seen anything directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal before, so I don't want to say if she's a bad director or not, or a bad writer or not.
And it was a good story. I think it was a very well written story.
Even my favorite directors of all time have made bad stuff, and I don't want to. And this is a good plot. This is a good idea. Everything in this movie is what I would classify as a good idea.
You just didn't think it meshed well all together as a movie?
No. Well, a couple things fall apart. Here. I mean, I want you to keep talking about your positives.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll get to my loads of negatives here.
Well, I just have a lot of positives about it. I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed the feminist part of, the whole structure of the movie was geared towards feminism and things like that, and like from the doctor being a woman, from just the ending, and just it was really good. I don't really have any negatives other than the fact that Christian Bale's Frankenstein, at times, I think you were supposed to find him pathetic at times, and I did find him very pathetic at times.
It's what's weird about this movie, and I didn't quite hate, because, you can do whatever you want, but if we're being honest here, Bride of Frankenstein, when you think about it for more than 20 seconds, to me, is kind of SAE. You can't say the real word on YouTube. The whole idea of bringing a woman back to the dead and boom, you're my bride, and we're a thing. That's uncomfortable to me.
So the way that they did it here made it much better.
No,
she took control of herself.
She did take control. It's still a little bit, but it was never intended to be. When Mary Shelley had the monster say, "Make me a bride," and had that whole subplot in the book, well, first of all, it ends with Victor saying, "No, F you to the monster. I'm not going to make your bride." And then James Whale, that wasn't on his wavelengths making the film. So that was never intended. It's more something that we figured out over time. Neither of the people that are responsible for the Bride of Frankenstein or the concept, which are Mary Shelley for the concept of the monster having a bride, and then James Whale for making something where that bride happens, knew what they were doing there.
Right.
Mary Shelley might have. I don't think James Whale would have. Not just because he was a dude, but he was a gay dude. So all of his thoughts sexually and romantically were same gender, same sex. So, male on male. Male on male! Which gay sex is weirdly masculine and people don't talk about that, but it wasn't on their wavelength, I think. It was also just not on the wavelengths of anybody in the 1930s or anybody in the 1810s.
Okay.
But it's something that we find out, I think, through happenstance, through a modern lens, if you will. But I've gone on about that too long.
Okay.
Because that's not
Keep
important
going.
even to
Yeah.
me. But this movie doesn't really do much to address that itself, which is weird for this movie, where you would think that would be the main message. And maybe should have been, because I would have liked that a little bit more.
I think that message was pretty in there. I think the message of her taking control of herself and not being the bride of Frankenstein, when she very clearly made it she said the bride, and then the other characters in her head, and the ones that they were like, that's perfect, you were this person, and now you're this sounds really good.
But the problem with that is the movie doesn't do enough to demean the monster for what what did
I don't think they needed to demean him. I think he was pathetic in the fact that he wanted it to that extent. That was very pathetic, and you got to see him as a pathetic creature for that.
It's not pathetic to be lonely and single and undateable.
No, but it was pathetic. No, but it was his character portrayal of that, when he was and when he was like screaming and he's like that kind of
what I did, what I'm describing a little bit better, or a lot better. The DC comic show Creature Commandos kind of took.
Yeah, that was a better take on it, I think.
What I'm describing, James Gunn did a really good job of doing.
Right. But so I had a lot of positives, very few negatives, and you had a lot of negatives and very few positives.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
The biggest problem with this movie that makes everything that should be good fall apart is the dialogue, the way the characters speak, the way the characters talk. Feels like I'm watching something written by I feel like I'm watching something written by a edgy 13-year-old.
Do you think that part of that was just the different things in her head that were like the different?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much it took me. Like, she could read the room when she was in her room. Like, she could see the evil that the men had done. Like, I guess that was like from the grave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she could see the evil that the men had done, and she was like spouting things in all of these women's voices about that, and that was, you had to really pay attention, because it was like da, 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 and it was so many different voices and so many different people and so many different things, and so that was a little odd, but it was very interesting, I thought.
Yeah. It's not just her dialogue, it's the dialogue of half the character, not half, all of the characters here is weird. I like the dialogue that comes out of the monster's mouth.
Yeah.
Was weird. The dialogue that comes out of the bride's mouth doesn't work.
Okay.
None of these people talk like real people.
All right. It was a fantasy, so I mean, it was like a fantasy type movie.
They talk like it's so hard to. The way they talk is the way characters in Shakespeare plays from the 1600s talk, but the difference is by the 1930s, nobody was talking like that anymore. In the 1600s, that was just how people talked.
Well, maybe not the 1600s, maybe the 1800s, and the fact that he was from the 1800s, and that Mary Shelley was from the 1800s, and she was one of the main voices of the main character. So maybe that.
Other characters talk like that too, that don't have any of that.
Oh, okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal was in this movie for 5 seconds, and to me, he spoke like that.
Oh, I just thought he spoke like a contemptuous,
Which
stuck-up actor.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, I know you love your brother, but I don't. I don't want to see his face in your movie.
Oh, okay.
You just want to hang out with your family.
Well, that's cool.
Sam Raimi also puts his brother in everything. I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, that was mine. So still going on the negative.
So everybody talks like it's a Shakespeare play, for some reason. Romeo and Juliet is quoted. They do put on the Ritz from Young Frankenstein, and it worked in Young Frankenstein because it made sense in the universe that movie had created as being a comedy. And it could make sense in this movie if this movie would go more theatrical, which I'm just now realizing is weird when comparing something to Shakespeare, and then saying it could go more, but a different type of theatrical than Shakespeare, and it could have worked.
Okay. So
the detective.
Oh yeah, we'll just
The male one, the female one, the one that ends up being the main detective that puts a rap on everything.
Yeah.
I didn't have any major
Penelope
problems with her.
Cruz, I think.
I didn't have any major problems with her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think she was that interesting, but I also didn't think she was that horrible of a character.
Right.
Maybe one of the better written characters in the movie. Her male counterpart. The whole movie, I just kept thinking, why is this Harvey Bullock from Batman?
Yeah.
And why is it Harvey Bullock from Batman? Which, by the way, Maggie Gyllenhaal's brother, Jake Gyllenhaal, who's in a lot of this movie, would make for a pretty cool Batman.
Oh.
He would.
All right.
He would. I think he will be Batman in the DCU, but that's completely unrelated, but I do think he will. But he would be a good Batman.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Batman. Yeah, I think so. Okay. But for this movie, I'm gonna say
that guy would make for a good Harvey Bullock.
Okay. Well, for this movie, I'm gonna say I enjoyed it. I would give it a B, and a rewatch. And you would?
I would give it a D, and I would say watch. Oh, it hurts to say this. If we want to see this movie not done right, because this is also a bad movie, we'll get a good movie with this tone. But if you want to see a movie that does some of the things that this is trying to do better, I would say watch Joker 2. Which is not good, but it does a lot of the things this tries to do, but with one grade higher than this movie, because it does everything one step better. That movie does go full theatrical, wasn't what I was musical theatrical. It has musical numbers, which if this really felt like a gritty musical that had the musical numbers taken out of it, and I didn't understand why don't they just start singing.
Okay.
I thought they should have started singing. I thought they should have started singing and dancing. I think they should have been multiple musical numbers. I think the first time they had sex should have been a musical number. I think everybody in this movie should have sung. I think everybody in this movie should have sung and danced and tap danced.
I think you just wanted it to be completely over the top then, because I think it was already very much riding the top, and I liked it.
If you're going to make a movie like this, here's my take. Make Young Frankenstein look subtle.
Oh gosh.
But
I
don't mean make it a comedy.
It was a good movie. Rewatch it.
I don't mean make it a comedy. Can I explain what I mean? I don't mean make it a comedy. I mean, you know how Young Frankenstein is very much a very theatrical film. Like, it's make Young Frankenstein look like Frankenstein 1931. But make this movie as serious as Frankenstein 1931 or the Del Toro Frankenstein that just came out. And then have them sing Put on the Ritz and make it not feel out of place. Have them sing other 20 show tunes. Have them sing original songs that were written for this.
Okay, I don't want to make the video any longer, but they weren't
What's
singing
wrong
it.
with
It was in the background, and it was just like I was like, oh, I recognize that, and then kind of the fantasy sequence. I thought that was pretty over the top.
In
that
a
was pretty
fantasy,
good. I
they would have been singing.
All right. Okay.
And if Arthur Fleck fantasizes and he's singing and I can't believe I'm here talking so much great stuff about Joker 2.
I know. After
That's
you trashed it.
well, it is a bad movie. It
Okay.
just I have more respect for it now.
Okay. All right.
And
Well, then I guess maybe I should watch that movie too and see if I think it's wonderful. 'Cause
I mean,
thought
if
this
you were
one was
able
pretty
to handle
wonderful.
the grape scenes in this,
Yeah.
even though that's something that disgusts you, you might be able to handle the one that's in Joker 2 with him with the guards in prison.
Maybe not. Okay. Well,
You can
that's-
watch Shawshank Redemption and be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was my take on the movie. Hayden's take on the movie, and I give it a B. You give it a
D.
D. All right.
Now Joker 2 is winning more towards a C minus.
Okay.
Instead
well,
of a
that
D
changed.
plus.
This movie changed a grade on a different movie.
Um,
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you know, I like that movie a lot more.
Okay.
Not a lot more.
A bit.
Oh, I really want to, because something I said sounded a little bit problematic.
Uh-huh.
I do want to help either take it back completely and talk about how much of an idiot I sounded like earlier in this review, or just help people better understand what I meant. I implied that James Well wouldn't understand how rapey Bride of Frankenstein as a story is, as an idea is, because he was gay. I think he wouldn't have understood that because he was a man.
Okay.
I think him and a straight man, if he was straight, he still wouldn't understand it at all. I don't think men from that era understood how that type of stuff, had that type of brain. So it has nothing to do with his sexuality. I completely take that back. That was fucked up and I shouldn't have said that. It all has to deal with his gender identity and not his sexuality. If he was straight, gay, bi, pan, it all would have been the same.
Okay.
Because of his gender identity. I think we can agree on that. What about you?
All right. Yes. So that was Hayden's disclaimer at the end, and it works. Okay. Thanks for watching.
If my friends could see me now.